Hi, church. It's Pastor David. We're on lesson 4 on John chapter 1, verse 9 to 11. Yep, just 3 verses. And so let's get started. Um, it says, "There was the true light which coming into the world enlightens every man. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. He came to his own, and those who were his own did not receive him." That's verse 9 to 11. If you remember from verse 1 to 5 or 6, it talked about Jesus. He was the Word, and then he was the life, and then the light. Verse 6 to 8 was about John the Baptist, who came as a witness concerning the light that was coming. And now we come back to the light, Jesus. As always in the diagramming, what we want to do is we want to cut apart the sentences, and so that's what we're going to do. Now, what I see here is in verse 9, it says, "There was the true light, which coming into the world enlightens every man." Verse 9, what is the main structure of the sentence? What is the simplest structure of this sentence in verse 9? The subject is the light, right? What about the verb? What is the main verb? Is it coming? Nope. It's enlightens, right? And so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to change it around. The main structure, the simplest structure of a sentence is the light enlightens every man, and everything else is detail. We know that coming into the world is describing the light, how he came, how he enlightens, who he is, what he was doing. He was coming into the world. But really the basic subject is the light, and the verb is enlightens. And we can tell that by just removing coming into the world. If you were to take out that phrase coming into the world and you remove it, you would still have a full sentence. It says there was the true light which enlightens every man. This would be a full sentence without this phrase. Okay? And I've just kind of rearranged the sentence. I've pulled out coming into the world to the bottom of this sentence. And I've put this arrow here to remind me that this phrase coming into the world actually belongs here. But more importantly, for the structure of this diagramming, I'm reminding myself the light is the subject, enlightens is the verb. All right? Let's go on. It says, he, Jesus, was in the world, and he was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. So in verse 10, I see 3 sentences again, 3 full sentences, and they are added together by these words and, the conjugation. And so I've put a line here to let me know that these are 3 full sentences. Jesus was in the world. He lived in this world 2,000 years ago, and the world was made through him. So the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. Okay, pretty straightforward. Verse 11. Jesus, I am highlighting any reference to Jesus in red here. He came to his own, and those were his own did not receive him. What that tells us is that his own is probably a reference to the Jews, to God's people. And we have two full sentences here. Those who were his own did not receive him. If anything, they rejected him. Okay? And so that's our passage today. And this is how I would diagram these three verses. So in closing, let me share with you a couple of thoughts. First, it's about the true light. Jesus is the light. Why is he the light? In the past verses, Jesus was the life, and then the life was the light of men, it says. Why is he the life? Well, he shows us that true life was meant to be in fellowship with God. So through Jesus, you can have fellowship with God. That sin will no longer be a barrier between you and God. And when Jesus came, verse 9 says, it enlightens every man. So the question this morning for you, number one, is Jesus enlightening you? Is he, do you see that as you live in this world, that what Jesus offers and what Jesus says is completely different from this world? And as you meet him, as you fellowship with Jesus, you got to realize that, man, he's changing me. I see difference in the way I value things. The pursuits of this world is not what I want. This is what the light does in the world. Okay. Verse 11, he came to his own, and those who were his own did not receive him. And so for those who recognize that Jesus is different, and then you realize the change, the transformation that Jesus is making in your life, he makes those changes because, well, you've received him. So this morning, I want to ask you, open up your heart. Say yes to Jesus again. Keep saying yes to Jesus. Jesus, I want to accept what you're telling me, the values you're sharing with me, the things that you want me to do, I want to do. Jesus, be the light in me, and that I may shine your light into this world. All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye.